Thank you, Mr. Foreign Minister. Mr. Comănescu, you are the Secretary General of BSEC. It's a large organization, representing almost 350 million people, covering territory of 20 million square kilometers, and also a region that has had its share of conflict. Again, I want to come back to this initial question. In your experience, how can countries overcome these geopolitical divisions to create connectivity routes, to connect economies for the prosperity of the people themselves? So like concrete examples, if you can, please.
Thank you very much. And thank you for the question. But before trying to answer to that, allow me first to express my thanks to my friend and Foreign Minister of Armenia, Ararat Mirzoyan, for having invited me to participate in this forum, and particularly grateful for the fact that I was allocated as a member of a panel with such distinguished participants. And point number one. Point number two, I would also like to underline the relevance of this forum and the fact that both the timing and the topic are quite well chosen. And perhaps I may be subjective a little bit, but what I have in mind is that this forum takes place during the period when Armenia is holding the chairmanship in office of the organization which I had the honor to represent. And associating this with the topics chosen for the forum, including connectivity, makes me thank the Armenian side for organizing this forum in this period, which means raising the relevance and the assertiveness of the organization. And all the more so I am happy to be here in this panel, as topics related to connectivity have a lot to do with the activity of my organization. Be it connectivity in transport, be it connectivity in energy, be it connectivity, very important I would say, connectivity of minds, because it has a lot to do with understanding and making progress towards cooperation. So I feel that I could elaborate a little bit about what my organization is doing. But before that, getting inspired by the title of this panel, which is from geopolitics of connectivity, from cooperation to collaboration. That brings me to make, and I hope you'll allow me, 2 or 3 very brief remarks. I think that everybody agrees with the fact that competition has through history been an engine for growth, when that was a fair competition. When competition is used as an instrument for domination of control, it doesn't work. And you have to say that if we look into the history of the Black Sea region, we've been witnessing situations when this region has been, let's say, area of competition. I'm afraid from time to time, even nowadays, we may see this type of things. On the contrary, this region is also an example, a good example, that when the competition was fair, mutual understanding prevailed, much has been done. And the fact itself that this organization has been there for 32 years speaks by itself in this respect. This is my first remark. Second remark, still related to globalization, competition, and cooperation. Okay, we have seen, especially since pandemics, also in the context of the war in Ukraine, we've seen a drive towards diminishing dependencies, getting independency, getting resilience, and so on and so on. I would say that that is a little bit contrary to the globalization. Globalization, we want it or not, Of course, it changed a lot as framework. But globalization will continue to be there for good. We have to look to adapt to the new developments, including digitalization of society and so on. And if that's the case, we have to admit that interdependencies will continue and even will grow, of course, influenced by the new developments. This is why, in my opinion, when talking about resilience, instead of, how to say, seeking autonomous resilience, we may perhaps look more to the necessity of building resilient interdependencies. And my third comment deriving therefrom is that, and now coming closer to the area of connectivity. We've seen in the recent past 10 years or so, series of initiatives aimed at providing for transport, connectivity, and so on. But some of them, at least, I see them having been developed not necessarily starting from the idea of mutual complementarity and mutual reinforcing, more or less a kind of a competition as well. But happily, we see now that there is a kind of a change in this respect. And I see that when it comes to, for example, initiatives or projects like the BRI, Middle Corridor, now people initially, if I will remember, I may be mistaken, but I hope not. But I do remember when talk was about the Middle Corridor, at a certain moment, there was a kind of reluctance from some countries, including from the European Union. Now I see that, and this is a very good development. I see an increased awareness about the fact how important it is to seek connectivity through complementarity, through mutual reinforcing. So these were the few comments which I wanted to make in this respect. And now, very briefly on BISEC. We've been trying to work to develop connectivity, to help developing connectivity in the region. Because if we talk about BRI, if we talk about Global Gateway, or India, Middle East, Europe corridor, or something like this, we will see that you cannot avoid the Black Sea region. And here comes the importance of the Black Sea region as a real bridge between Asia and Europe. And from this perspective, a series of significant projects have been launched here. I'm referring to, for example, to the Black Sea Highway Ring, or the motorways of the sea. Of course, advancement has not been that much on the physically speaking. But we have developed within this organization already, kind of, let's say, pre-feasibility development of these projects. And hopefully, when the atmosphere of peace and cooperation will come back in this region, this project may advance. Another aspect which we are looking at with particular attention is about how to develop connectivity and alternative routes of supply and transport, to keep in mind the importance of being environmentally friendly. And from this perspective, I would like to really welcome the fact that a very interesting project, and I hope will become a kind of a source of inspiration, has been developed by Azerbaijan, Georgia, Romania, and Hungary. I am referring to the green energy cable, which is being now projected and I hope will become a reality as soon as possible. One other aspect which I wanted to highlight is that the fact that it is extremely important when seeking alternatives for connectivity to pay particular attention to initiatives coming from the region itself, from the countries in this region. And here we've been listening in the morning to the Prime Minister of Armenia, I think that projects like the Crossroad of Peace and others coming from this region can contribute, and the Black Sea Economic Organization is there to help in promoting this type of projects. And finally, coming back to what I mentioned at the beginning, talking about connectivity, of course, physical connectivity, infrastructure, transport, energy, and so on is quintessential. But equally important is connectivity of minds. And here this organization has been trying to bring, albeit a modest contribution. This is why we avail, although we are an organization for economic cooperation, we avail of a working group on culture, which is aimed exactly at developing human contacts and through their better understanding and through their increasing mutual confidence and prospects for cooperation and peace. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.